This morning, a 71-year-old man passed away. He wasn't a celebrity, but he was well known in his community. He was someone who showed up to family gatherings, made time for his friends, and found joy in the simple things. His death came as a shock to everyone who knew him, especially because, just a few weeks ago, he was still going about his daily routines with his usual energy and enthusiasm. But today, he's gone. And as his family, friends, and loved ones grieve, it's left many of us asking, what can we learn from his life? And more importantly, how can we take the lessons from his life to help us live longer, healthier, and more fulfilling lives? It's a question that we all have to confront as we age. The truth is, no one knows how much time we have left. We can never predict the future, but we can control how we live in the present. Every choice we make today has a ripple effect on our future. Whether you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, the habits you form now, the actions you take, can greatly impact your quality of life and longevity. This video isn't just about reflecting on someone's passing. It's about learning from his life and how we can apply these lessons to our own lives to make sure that we're living our best life, no matter our age. Today, we're going to explore 5 key habits and lessons from his life that can directly influence our own longevity. These lessons are backed by science, and they are practical steps we can all take to live longer, healthier, and happier lives. Let's dive in with the first lesson we can learn from this 71-year-old man's life: the importance of physical activity. When we think about living longer, the first thing that often comes to mind is exercise. Many of us associate exercise with intense workouts or going to the gym, but the truth is, you don't have to run marathons or lift heavy weights to extend your life. The key isn't how intense your workouts are, it's how consistently you move your body. Take Jim, the 71-year-old man who passed away. Jim wasn't a bodybuilder or a triathlete, but he understood the importance of staying active. Every morning, he would take a walk around his neighborhood, rain or shine. It wasn't a marathon, just a brisk 20-minute walk. But Jim knew that moving his body every day was the secret to his health and happiness. His routine was simple, but effective. He walked because it made him feel better, both physically and mentally. He knew it kept his heart strong, kept his joints flexible, and helped his mind stay sharp. Jim's doctor often praised him for his consistency in walking, saying it was one of the reasons why his blood pressure was normal and his heart was in great shape for a man his age. Jim didn't have to hit the gym or do anything extreme. He just moved every single day. And this simple habit had a profound effect on his health. Now, you might be wondering, but what if I can't walk every day, or I don't feel up to it? The good news is that you don't have to be perfect to see the benefits. The key is simply to move regularly. Whether it's walking, stretching, swimming, or even doing low-impact exercises at home, just move your body. Studies show that just 20 to 30 minutes of moderate exercise, like brisk walking or gentle stretching, 5 times a week, can reduce your risk of chronic disease like heart disease, diabetes, and even some cancers. What's more, it can boost your mood, reduce stress, and help you sleep better. It's a simple habit, but it can extend your life and improve your quality of life in profound ways. Take George, for example. He's 72, and after hearing about Jim's passing, he decided to start walking every day. He wasn't sure if it would make a difference, but after a few weeks, he noticed something incredible. His knees, which had been stiff for years, started feeling better. His energy improved, and he found that he was sleeping deeper and waking up with more energy. George's experience shows us that it's never too late to start moving. The body adapts, and it responds positively, even if you start small. Jim's life reminds us of how simple and powerful physical activity can be in maintaining our health. Whether it's walking, stretching, or just moving more throughout the day, daily movement is essential. And it doesn't have to be a huge commitment. It can be as simple as starting with 15 to 20 minutes a day and gradually increasing it. Now that we've discussed the importance of staying physically active, let's move on to the second lesson we can learn from Jim's life: the power of social connections. As we age, we often notice our social circles shrinking. It's a natural part of life. Friends may move away, loved ones may pass, and perhaps we find ourselves spending more time at home. While this is a common experience, it's also a growing concern for health experts. Because here's the thing: loneliness is not just an emotional burden, it's a health risk. Studies have shown that people who are socially isolated are at a higher risk for developing conditions like heart disease, high blood pressure, depression, and even cognitive decline. In fact, researchers have found that chronic loneliness can be as damaging to your health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. The more isolated you are, the more stress you put on your body, which can lead to physical illness and a shortened lifespan. Jim, our 71-year-old friend, was a man who took social connections seriously. He understood that life was not just about surviving, it was about thriving. Despite his busy schedule, Jim always made time to connect with the people around him. Whether it was a weekly phone call with his brother, a regular coffee meetup with old friends, or a monthly family gathering, Jim knew that his relationships were one of the most important things in his life. He stayed connected because he recognized the power of these interactions. They weren't just enjoyable, they were essential for his physical and mental health. It's not just about having friends or family around, though. It's about having meaningful relationships that bring joy, support, and a sense of belonging. This connection gives you a reason to get out of bed in the morning, a purpose, and a feeling of being needed. That's what truly adds value to your life, no matter your age. Let's look at Marilyn, a 72-year-old woman who, after the passing of her spouse, found herself slipping into a bit of a rut. She lived alone and began feeling disconnected from the world around her. She started spending more and more time alone, relying mostly on TV for company. It wasn't long before she started feeling like she didn't have much of a reason to get up or make the effort to go out and do things. But one day, Marilyn made a decision to change. She had always loved painting, so she joined a local art class. At first, she was nervous about meeting new people and stepping out of her comfort zone. But soon, she found herself surrounded by other like-minded individuals who shared her passion. She began to look forward to her weekly painting sessions, where not only did she discover new techniques, but she formed genuine connections with people who encouraged and uplifted her. Marilyn felt reinvigorated, and she noticed her mood improve, her energy returned, her outlook on life shifted, and even her doctor noticed improvements in her blood pressure and overall well-being. This is a perfect example of how being socially active doesn't just improve your mental health, it impacts your physical health as well. Being around others and engaging in meaningful activities is a powerful way to stay young at heart and sharp in mind. If you're feeling lonely, don't be afraid to reach out. Join a club, take up a hobby, or simply make the effort to stay in touch with friends and family. Even a simple phone call or virtual conversation can make a huge difference. Now that we've explored the power of social connections, let's talk about lesson number 3, something that Jim, even in his 71 years, did consistently. He lived with a sense of purpose. As we get older, we may begin to feel like we're not as needed as we once were. Maybe retirement comes with a sense of loss of identity, or you might feel like your days of contributing are behind you. But here's the truth: having a sense of purpose is essential to aging well. In fact, research shows that people who have a clear sense of purpose live longer, healthier lives. They have a greater sense of satisfaction, a higher level of physical health, and they tend to experience lower rates of depression and anxiety. Let's go back to Jim. One of the reasons he had such a strong, positive outlook on life was because he always had something to look forward to. Even after retirement, Jim stayed busy with activities that gave him a sense of accomplishment. He didn't just fill his time with mindless activities, he was involved in mentoring younger generations, volunteering at his local community center, and spending time with family in meaningful ways. Jim knew that having a purpose wasn't just about doing things, it was about feeling needed and valuable. Now, I know that some of you might be thinking, but I'm retired now. What purpose do I have left? The truth is, it's never too late to find purpose. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture or a large-scale mission. Purpose can be as simple as helping a neighbor, volunteering a few hours at a local charity, or taking on a project you've always wanted to try, like writing a book, starting a blog, or learning a new skill. Take Henry, for example. He's 70, and after he retired, he initially felt a bit lost. But then he realized he missed working with his hands. He decided to start woodworking, a hobby he had dabbled in when he was younger. Now, Henry spends his days in his workshop, creating beautiful pieces of furniture and selling them to support local charities. Not only does this give him a sense of pride and purpose, but he's also physically active in his work, keeping his body engaged while doing something that makes him feel fulfilled. Henry's story is a powerful reminder that purpose isn't about how much you do. It's about doing something that makes you feel like you matter. Whether it's working on a personal project, helping others, or simply being a part of a community, having purpose adds meaning to your life. And meaning is what gives life its value, especially as we age. Now that we've talked about the importance of social connections and purpose, let's move on to lesson number 4, taking care of your mental health. As we grow older, the stresses and challenges of life can take a toll on our emotional well-being. Loss of loved ones, changes in our health, and even the feeling of no longer being as needed can all contribute to mental strain. Unfortunately, mental health often gets overlooked as we focus on physical health. However, the two are deeply interconnected. Taking care of your mental health is just as essential for longevity as staying physically active or eating right. Jim, the 71-year-old man we're learning from, knew that his mental well-being was as important as his physical health. He didn't shy away from emotions or challenges. Instead, he addressed them head-on. One of the key things Jim did regularly was practice mindfulness, a practice that involves paying attention to the present moment and acknowledging your emotions without judgment. Jim found time every day to sit quietly, reflect, and allow himself to relax without distractions. Whether he took a walk through the park, sat in his favorite chair with a cup of tea, or just focused on his breath for a few minutes, he made space for mindfulness, and in turn, it had a profound effect on his mental health. Mindfulness and mental relaxation are scientifically proven to reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and even improve cognitive function. Jim knew that by managing his stress and focusing on the present, he could reduce the negative impact of daily pressures on his body. Another important aspect of mental health is maintaining strong emotional ties with others. As we age, it can be easy to feel disconnected or that our opinions and feelings don't matter as much. Jim actively worked to maintain those connections. He spoke regularly with his children and grandchildren, not just about logistics or news, but about deeper, more meaningful topics. He made sure to ask them about their lives and share his thoughts and experiences. These conversations were about emotional support, not just exchanges of information. Jim knew that staying emotionally engaged with others helped him process his feelings, reduce stress, and stay connected with the world around him. For example, consider Barbara, who's 74 and was recently struggling with the recent loss of a sibling. Rather than isolating herself or pretending everything was fine, Barbara sought therapy, where she learned to process her grief and manage her feelings in a healthy way. Barbara also took time to write in a journal, which became her way of reflecting on her emotions. By expressing her thoughts and feelings, Barbara not only reduced her stress, but also developed a healthier outlook on life. Through these efforts, Barbara found that her mental clarity improved. She was more resilient in facing life's challenges, and she had more energy to enjoy her social activities. The lesson here is clear. Don't neglect your mental health. As we age, it's natural to face emotional and mental challenges, but it's essential to make space for yourself to process those emotions in a healthy way. Whether it's through mindfulness, therapy, or simply taking time to talk with loved ones, protecting your emotional well-being is one of the most important things you can do for longevity. Now, let's move on to lesson number 5, which, for Jim, was perhaps the most obvious but often overlooked: getting enough sleep. When we talk about longevity and well-being, sleep is often an afterthought. People tend to focus on exercise, diet, and even mental health, but adequate sleep is the foundation of it all. Without enough rest, the body struggles to repair itself, the mind becomes sluggish, and the risk of chronic diseases increases. Sleep is when your body does most of its healing and restoration. So if you're not sleeping well, you're not allowing your body to do what it needs to do to stay healthy. Jim, despite his busy life, made sleep a priority. He understood that the body needs time to rest and recharge, and he made sure to follow a consistent sleep routine. Every night, Jim would wind down by reading for a bit, listening to calming music, and sometimes doing light stretches before bed. His bedroom was cool, quiet, and dark, and he made sure to avoid stimulating activities like watching TV or using his phone right before going to sleep. Jim was well aware that good sleep hygiene was key to feeling well rested and energetic the next day, and the results spoke for themselves. Jim had no issues with sleeping through the night. He woke up feeling refreshed, ready to take on the day. His energy levels remained steady, and he was rarely groggy or irritable, which often happens when we don't get the sleep our body needs. Studies have shown that getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night reduces the risk of diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and even Alzheimer's. It helps maintain mental clarity, boosts your immune system, and improves mood, all of which are critical as we age. But let's be real, many of us struggle with sleep. Poor sleep hygiene, stress, or physical discomfort can all make it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep. However, there are some simple strategies you can implement to improve your sleep quality. 1. Stick to a sleep schedule. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time every day, even on weekends. This helps regulate your body's internal clock. 2. Create a relaxing bedtime routine. Whether it's reading, meditating, or stretching, find activities that help signal to your body that it's time to wind down. 3. Limit screen time before bed. The blue light emitted by phones, tablets, and computers can interfere with your body's ability to fall asleep. 4. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. A cooler environment is ideal for restful sleep, and darkness helps promote the release of melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep. 5. Avoid heavy meals and caffeine before bed. Both can disrupt sleep by causing discomfort or increasing energy levels when you're trying to wind down. Jim's commitment to a healthy sleep routine is a perfect reminder that good sleep is foundational for good health. Without it, all the exercise, socializing, and positive thinking in the world won't be enough to keep you feeling your best. As we come to the end of these 5 lessons, it's clear that Jim's life wasn't marked by extraordinary feats. It was built on the simple, consistent habits that kept him healthy and happy. And the best part is that you don't need to wait for something tragic to happen to start making these changes in your own life. By incorporating these practices, physical activity, social connections, mental health care, and proper sleep, you can improve not just how long you live, but how well you live. Now that we've discussed the 5 powerful lessons we can learn from Jim's life, let's bring it all together. Jim's story is a reminder that living a long, healthy life isn't just about avoiding illness or making big changes. It's about cultivating small, consistent habits that protect our body and mind. And the best part, these habits are within our control. Let's quickly recap what we've learned. 1. Stay physically active. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or even 80, moving your body every day, even for just 15 to 20 minutes, can have a huge impact on your health. Regular movement strengthens your muscles, improves circulation, and boosts energy levels. 2. Build and maintain strong social connections. Social isolation isn't just lonely, it's harmful to your health. Make time to connect with friends, family, and your community. These relationships improve your emotional well-being and can even boost your longevity. 3. Live with a sense of purpose. Whether it's a hobby, volunteering, or spending time with loved ones, having a reason to get out of bed in the morning makes all the difference. Purpose keeps us motivated, active, and engaged, which leads to a more fulfilling life. 4. Take care of your mental health. Stress and negative emotions are not just part of aging. Managing your mental health through mindfulness, therapy, or simply talking to loved ones can reduce stress, improve your mood, and enhance your overall health. 5. Prioritize sleep. Never underestimate the power of a good night's sleep. Quality sleep is the foundation of good health. It restores your body, sharpens your mind, and keeps you feeling energized. It's clear that Jim's life wasn't about chasing perfection. It wasn't about being the healthiest or most active person. Jim's longevity came from the simple, everyday choices he made. These small habits kept him healthy, happy, and present for his family and friends until the very end. You might be wondering, but can I really make these changes at my age? Is it too late for me? And the answer is, no, it's never too late. You don't have to overhaul your life in one day, but you can start with small steps. Even a 10-minute walk, calling an old friend, or starting a new hobby can have an incredible impact on your health and well-being. Just think about Jim's walk in the morning. It wasn't about getting fit for a marathon. It was simply about moving every day. The same goes for the other habits. You don't need to make dramatic changes to see results. The goal is to focus on consistency. Small steps, done regularly, add up over time and lead to a big difference. One of the most important things to remember from Jim's life is that life is precious, and how we live it matters. Every choice we make, from the way we treat our bodies to how we treat our minds and relationships, determines how we feel, how we age, and how we experience the world. Jim lived his life with intention and care, and that's something we can all strive for. So let me ask you, what will you do today to improve your life? Whether it's starting a new daily habit, reaching out to someone you care about, or making time for yourself, today is the perfect day to begin. Small actions today lead to big results tomorrow. I'd love to hear what you think. What's one lesson from Jim's life that you're going to start applying today? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. I'm here to help you live your best life, no matter what age you are. And remember, the best years of your life are still ahead of you. You've got this.